Telling you their biography, but I will do that as time goes on. I will start immediately on calling our keynote address. Today, our keynote is imparting knowledge through skills acquisition in Mbaise. Being a keynote address presented by Professor Paul Mbaise on the occasion of this 5th edition of Mbaise Europe Convention, held here in Vienna, that starts today till 12th of October. Professor Mbaise will now take his time to make the keynote address. After that, the other speakers will fill in and tell us one or two things, which I'll also introduce when they start. Please, without wasting your time, I'll call on Professor to go ahead and give us his keynote address.
Thank you very much. As a wise man, my good friend, I will establish the protocol right now. With time, I can let reflect where you want to be said. This has to be said. Reflect where the whole professor. This has to be here. No, just say professor, so you all will. I can miss it over. I will better come when you can. But this keynote address is very important to us. This is the topic here. In the Europe, whatever the issue of for is impacting knowledge through skill acquisition in Mbaise. We have 3 key words. The first is impacting knowledge. The second is skills acquisition. And the third term is Mbaise. Which means I highlight the term skill acquisition and impacting knowledge, and of course, what knowledge is. I am back up with Olende when be sent. I have knowledge that is rooted in skills. I am a leader with formal salutation. As no woman them no one them be sent. The issue don't be sent Europe. Nandi otu Nandi Machi be sent Europe. Don't have a board of delegates. Members of Mbaise Europe, their friends, Nandi also Ndebera, a moment 5th edition of Mbaise Europe. Then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. All we know, he kwanubu. Ubunelu helu. Utonsi cheye. Unojile half them to give you the keynote address. They can gather today at the beautiful city of Vienna, which the wise man has already stressed. It's one of the most beautiful states, one of the most beautiful cities in the world. That is the city of Vienna. And of course, as somebody rooted in peace advocacy, I discovered also that Vienna is, if not the most peaceful city in the world, yeah, we're the second most peaceful city in the world. Because peace is very important. Maybe in the kind of prayer mind, you may endorse some convention 9. Gabema behind you, they will go about Vienna in terms of peace. Because peace is divine and peace is what we need today in the world. So now we'll have us peace today. Everybody will listen to him, even the government. Because the government is trying to find a way out to make sure that there is peace in the world today. Everywhere in the world today, the Middle East, everywhere, Africa, nobody is, we are all in trouble if this quagmire is not nipped in the bud. So, I'm going to my friend, my very great friend, our friend, you know, Dr. Samuel Wenna. Please, go on here, go my own. I will have the stage pending. But all of them is an onion, carry to the Punde. So, who's running a cap? So, this very theme is very, very important. The theme is unleashing the potential. If I should paraphrase or put differently, we are trying to attempt to discuss how we can unleash the potential of people education as a powerful weapon for the empowerment of these men, women, and the community, particularly our youth. So, you may prepare a testing statement. Ya we show you. Now, the research can by testing statement. The statement is that empowering indecent people through skill acquisition can transform the community by fostering economic growth, reducing unemployment, and enhancing overall well-being. Today, now, any problem I will not be said today related to crime. In the diaspora, so and then I go job. Law again crime. Never make enough skill to empower themselves and empower the community. Keona, I currently today, men who la paper, we know when we relevant skill, one consider what the youth can have also from Bata Bechi. That is why we have the problem. Give me a relevant skill. He didn't believe that give back tag and wage, not the man. You can't do that because you will have a raka. That was up. But back. Now get up and down. Today, we must send a message home to every youth now be sent of the need to acquire relevant skill. But how come I them back? The skill, or lay hanging is in hacker. That is where the diaspora is coming in today. So today, when I have changes in global economy, characterized mainly by loss of job opportunities, a lot of people are losing their jobs. especially in the labor market. And this has resulted to a number of problems in the society. Today, I am witnessing increasing cases of mental illnesses, loss of confidence, depression, redundancy, and crime. The crime rate is increasing as a consequences of lack of job opportunities, especially for the graduate students of the various institutions of higher learning in Nigeria. I didn't mind that to get that too. You know what I from university these days, they were much opportunity. Even losses of jobs. But they probably more peculiar and Nigeria alone. Oh, some of them are involved. Almost every nation in the world. Today, I know what they call globalization. It's not a phenomenon that has reduced the world into a very small village. And one of the characteristics of globalization is improvement in ICT, information communication technology. Improvement in technology, in the way goods and services are provided. Technology can drive where you have to use UK sometime. With my nephew, I went to a bank. Only 2 persons. What is? 2 small girls. So no bank. It's all yes. Are they providing all the services? Are the normal banks in Nigeria do provide? That's yes. That they are doing everything. So why are there only 2? What of those people who they need very big coats in the banks? Where are they? I said, no, it's not necessary. That computer take over their jobs. And this is what is causing the losses of jobs. If this is what we are facing today, how do we close the gap? The way to close the gap is to make sure that we acquire skills so that we can employ ourselves and employ others without waiting for the government. If you are not lucky to get something from the government, from what they call the white-collar job, maybe you can still. But however, even if you have a white-collar job, what is wrong in you putting up an additional skill for yourself? So, we are trying to paint the picture of the evil of globalization. But that is not to say that globalization has not brought in its strength some goodies that are also for the welfare of man. You are also aware of the current trend of what people talk about AI, artificial intelligence, and other technological developments that have taken over the jobs that hitherto have been done by so many people in form of human labor. These are all leading to serious losses of jobs all over the world, and Nigeria is not an exception. It is even worse in our own environment with a very low level of industrialization and necessary innovations that should have created some opportunities for people to be engaged in some kind of wage level. I don't have to stress more about this phenomenon or what is happening, but we must have noted that so many recruiting firms today are advertising jobs that are not existing. At the end of the day, they will end up, doing 419 to job seekers, jobs that are not in existence. So the way out is for the youth to take another step to help themselves. So we are advising that the youth should stop this endless hope of getting white-collar jobs or white-collar employment. The question now is, what is the way to go? The right way to go and the right thing to do is for teaming unemployed men and women, particularly from Mbaise, to start their own businesses by learning some relevant skills as well as creating an enterprise that qualifies them as employers of labor instead of roaming about looking for white-collar jobs or remaining as job seekers. Skill acquisition training programs have therefore become very imperative as a methodological tool of impacting knowledge, especially after the acquisition of today's knowledge that is characterized as it were by theoretical and paper qualifications. That is also a problem. In Gacha school, 80% of it are with theory, and then you have over certificates. So we have to do something about it. Skill acquisition training as a way of acquiring knowledge is therefore the way our youth, especially in academic institutions, should go if we must close the already yawning gap between theory and practice, presently weighted or skewed in favor of theory. No doubt, skill acquisition training programs, if properly impressed by the people of Mbaise, will help to reduce unemployment as well as the concomitant poverty, crime, and related ills in our communities. Let us now reflect on let us have an idea of those key words. Very briefly, what is impacting knowledge? Impacting knowledge means, or used to refer to, knowledge that has direct effect or influence on a person. Any knowledge that has a direct influence or effect on a person or a situation or a thing. And what is knowledge? Knowledge is simply defined as an experience gained over time. An experience you gain over time. That is what we call knowledge. We can also look at it as an ability or capacity to act. If you have an ability or capacity to act, it means you have knowledge of that very issue. So, it is information put into action. So, knowledge is just a mix of experiences, values, information, and expert insights. Then what is skill acquisition? Let us see skill acquisition. Skill acquisition can be defined as process of learning and mastering new skills or competencies. The process of learning and mastering new skills or competencies. If you are able to master a new skill or a skill, or if you acquire competence in a particular type of job or skill, it means you are acquiring skill, or what we call skill acquisition. And for you to do this, you must also acquire knowledge. You must have abilities or behaviors that enable you to perform a specific task or occupation. You must have a way of being able to perform a task or occupation. So when one develops new skill or enhance existing skills, you may begin to enjoy better self-esteem. So new skill is very important. Even if you have a skill already, acquire new one. Because when you acquire new skill, you will now begin to enjoy greater self-esteem. That thing may make you very happy and confident when you meet others. Is what we call self-esteem. And that thing will also make you to be very confident. If you don't have a skill, you can never be confident. Because you don't have the ability to perform any task. Then when you have the boost in your confidence, you can still become more efficient in what you are doing. And so on and so forth. Then you will also, at the end of the day, be comfortable seeking for more opportunities. That is why skill is important. When you acquire this skill, it will lead to another skill. And here they were ripple effect. Let us define Mbaise. Because I'm going to define 3 key terms: skill, knowledge, skill, and who are Mbaise. You look at them, Mbaise, I went questioning with skill. Let's look at Mbaise as a nation. Unless Mbaise is within the present Imo state. I won't Imo, southeast geopolitical zone of Nigeria. From what we know, Mbaise is located at the heart of Igbo land. No wonder Imo State is said to be the Igbo heartland. You know what your acronym here in the Imo State? Abia Augustine State. Between this Imo State or Igbo heart land. But let me there on the hearts of the Igbo or the Imo people. All Mbaise. Mbaise is at the center of Igbo land and not at the center of Imo State. This is the only community for now. Name any border with any other non-Igbo people. That is why Mbaise, each typical example of Mbaise Igbo person. Oh, Mbaise. Because although we share a border with, Mbaise no border with any non-Igbo people. Abia State on a border with Ndem family. Anambra State on a border within the Edo State. Ebonyi State on a border within the Calabar. Enugu State on a border within the Benue. Nimo State on a border with anybody. I will pure Igbo people. I have been there with the core Igbo people. I want them to say, core Igbo. That is why Afibo, a very renowned Igbo history scholar, with the concept of core Igbo people. Core Igbo, C-O-R-E. And who are the core Igbo people? They have between the axis and above Oka, Olo, Okigwe, Owerri, Mbaise axis. These are the core Igbo people. I'm not saying that not that in the but whole thing constitutionalized there. They are saying the core Igbo people. Core Igbo people. Mbaise at the center of core Igbo people. So, now, another point about Mbaise is that the boundaries is very clear. I know the two bomb and on the north. Ndi Yehime and Obo. I know on boundary on the west. Then Ikedu and so on. Then the south by Owerri. Then I will see the Imo River form the eastern boundary between the area and the Salam National State. So, Unomandel was then Mbaise. When then I call they will designate the area. These are the people on the boundary in the Ngwa. For the men, in the Ngwa, and then be simple. Because so no like any in them be sent. And then beside who won't them be sent. I know I know Robert, Uno teacher. More than Uno Kayan, Uno that them, then be sent. What will they? I am a Papa of Sarandengua. Yes, the which shall be sent. Adelangua. Educate the concept of concubinage, eco, educate is like university. Abia compare and then be sent. Yeah, what that then be signed am I with eco institution, but in them but all made the man. Then one that difference. So the area we call Mbaise today, follow within what we call Olu section of Oka Olu uplands. Olu section of Oka Olu uplands, with a land area of about 404 square kilometers. Above the said we're 185. Today, we know what matters. Above the said car in that is hard. I have 111. There isn't it? 108. On the land. Above the said in land area. We know what matters. Outside the cover. Official population on the same 611,204 as at 2006. Among the population on now, making them be said the most densely populated area in Igbo land in Africa. Then most of our places can be said table land, except for the towns of Akapo and part of Ezinite, closer to what we call Oraniropan and Imo River, respectively. And then we grow some hills and some. The outside the kind from age 1 to 100 years. That is true. But only part isn't it? Now, Akabo area, now I have one to Ubula Mri. Now let us talk about Utumbi essentially, Wuro Mbaise. People call it an artificial creation. Yala, it creates, Mbaise creates, they create state. Maybe you know mine. People just his mama, Mbaise, from the onset, wouldn't them be saying, no. I would share and then very different people. I am with all lands with different cultures and worldviews. But the exigencies of colonial rule, Brabia meant something. Now, there was no common ancestor. We say many common ancestry. So they just see Odudu Wakrende, Yoruba, Bajida legend, Ekenda Hausa. No, then the same way common ancestry. The clans that came together in 1941 to form what we call today Mbaise. No child one had before. No one had. And when they go to clan, when isn't it? When pronouncing clan, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, the clan areas not form what we call today Mbaise. Abia together in 1941 to adopt the name Mbaise. 5 clans. Ahana, Ekwanazo, Ezinite, Agbata, Lokovo. These are the people who make up Mbaise. Lokovo, Abia, Mwede, Amazon, Lodge, Ofo, and so on and so forth. Then Abacha, Abiamuka, Nguru, Enyo, and Opato, and so on. Then isn't it to know about 13 to 16 clans. Opposite 13, but some issues, Mbaise, and now was it isn't it 16 clans. Gathering means the power here now, because all the rest are okay. But you know, the clans are in there, the people make it up, isn't it? Anisha, Obisi, Amoma, Obama Nama, Uto, Ite, Ezido, and so on. Ezebok, and so on and so forth. Give her, okay. Then, Obama Nama, and then chocolate. Good. Ife, and Amoma, and so on and so forth. So, and Gelibani, they won't take the same many. Get the politicians for Aribo. Many wish. No foreign with Ndocha, Adabombi said, our people like Dennis Abe, Pius Moga, Acharike, Iwuna from Guru, and so on. These are the people, just like today. On prend Friday today, Mbaise, Woku was Mbaise. Kewo, Ndechiga, the diaspora, I want in Europe, won't be sent Europe. When we get Sunday in the next years to come, people now say, "Oh, we won't never back effort to attend there." So that is why I got one down now. In America, the same people, they all class, and they are together. That the name, Mbaise in 1941. So, and making an evidence, Ijimana, Nahai, the Kwezoku, Nande brought together our channel, and they will go to before. Well, and with a lot of diverse dialects, Mbaise today. Dialects in Mbaise, and then with cultural differences, and so on and so forth. I want to inquire each other. I want to inquire about it. Them about it, waiting it. Or come, then grammar about it. Oh, there's it, and so on. They know it in them one. So such things, we will go through that. Or they and them be same world before. But by the grace of God, today, people now speak reasonably, mutually intelligible dialect. When key men are going this, I'm going to ask you this. Moshi is in it, Moshi Yapo, Moshi Akana, or because I have young women and mutually intelligible dialectical similarity. Again, we came in the boss of Marco, his own Mbaise. For the men, Mbaise. Don't know, okay. But today, the truth is that people can now see Mbaise as a unit, a political unit, anywhere we find ourselves through a little dialectical similarity. So, the history of Mbaise is very significant because many people come together. Many people with different ethnic identification and unification come together. Among the Igbo, with some time, they can come united by taking similar activities and intermarriages and so on and so forth. They become one indivisible entity. You can see today. So, but government and they are divided by further into some separate councils or constituencies. So all of them be sent another common identity today. Since over 80 years that Mbaise has existed as a single political unit. I I'm with common administration. I'm with the same opportunities, the same challenges, similar problems, and so on and so forth. But today, according to research, I made Professor Joe Babia State University with him, we have come to realize that there are two major problems today confronting Mbaise people. One problem is lack of job opportunities as a result of lack of skills, particularly among the youths. The major problem I know that is today. I identify this as one of our major problems. The next thing I will add that is also a problem is ecological problem. Ecological devastation. What's the job of community? I think I should have. Among no kanja come or kanjolizin it or kanjolizin it. So this is a major problem in today. So, but as I address the first one, this year. No, to say, how will regulate this issue highlight the convention and skill acquisition, empowerment of the youth, empowerment of the women, That is the area my sister, Dr. Linda, and Imo, that will come to talk about. Because I am very sure that the best person to be empowered, and you would actually say you have empowered the people, the women. You let men empower the men. How will they like women? How will they lose the women? No matter. But if you empower the woman, you have empowered the people. That is true. That is why Dr. Linda landed Mbaise Global Foundation and Mbaise Leadership Forum have done a lot. I've been opportunity to supervise some of our projects with women in the 3 local governments. Ejima agakebe so na hebasra women empowerment in Mbaise. Only Kapu. One people work people in Abo. So we are appealing to the diaspora. Women and girls. In 2016 or so, thereabouts, I was in Europe, in Germany. That conference was him to deliver a paper on the status of Igbo women and girls on the post-United Nations Conference on Status of Women, Agenda 58, CS 58. What we went to Germany to do is about the status of Igbo women, which we later presented to the United Nations Commission on Status of Women. They asked me to give example from the university. University. If you don't do this, you won't pass. If you don't pass, you don't do this. Although it is exaggerated, more often than not, but the truth is not really me, because I am inside us. Because some more can put down one. How is it even Imam Mukosi or Jorage or mine? But you gotta see ya in your condition when you keep me Yawo non-human being. You can do more with the architect. I will know do more. I will know. So please, my point here is that finding the empowerment and skill, the women folk is very, very important. There is another problem that we have in Mbaise that is also related to empowerment and skill and whatever you call it. Most of you may not consider it as a problem, but for me it is a problem. Let me ask you a question. As we speak now, as we go with for interaction, Sunday, on any higher institution, university, polytechnic, private, state, college of education, non-Mbaise, somebody should answer it. As we speak right now, on the university non-Mbaise, on the polytechnic non-Mbaise, on the private university non-Mbaise, on the state non-Mbaise, on the federal Mbaise. Oh my, no, now problem. Other problem, every education is our major occupation. And they may analyze acquisition of university for many years. All of them use like a massive up to 5,000 students in the acquisition of massive. Please, them be sent on Gabriel and Akeli. Me write their papa, they bend. Never been on that. My battle that they will have to look at you in them business. But those areas, which are institutions of higher learning, but in the same way, single institution of higher learning, like a state, like a federal, are private. Every state that actually in Ayaka, we have to run at Jomi. federal actually in Anyaka. I try to private or the man. I know Mbaise University or the man. Why I say she will take out the answer, I think I'll be so clear. But I want to inform you today that the dream, something that looks like a search for a chimera, will soon be realized with the acquisition of land at Ifezinite, courtesy of Ndife Busrala. Government registered earlier in Imo State. A formal application with the National University Commission. University Commission earlier, I completed all the documentations in line with the requirements of NUC. To be honest to you, when from the foundation, it becomes more. To be honest to you, it is when they go in the project. By January, I can meet the effect at the foundation to start something. A journey of so the point I'm trying to make is that plans have reached advanced stage. I am a university able to train them on skills. All the skill acquisition all the something we're talking about. Because the university we're talking about will focus on skills. Because in today's world, or the point you get more material, but when you say I'm so MS skill, we don't want to skill. Somebody, the students ask me this. Yes, because almost history and international relations. So I'm able to skill. Man, we are saying the skill. Yes, I'm going. Start go to the map, all skill. That is skill. If you can get to a level of academicism where you now claim that that is skill, because what is skill? Anything you will implement ahead of the how is skill? But the teacher school or the even each other or the even when they teach policy, you don't try it's not skill. So that is the way it is. So I'm going to make the Mbaise Europe. Now, Abokwahan, say how she can partner with Ndina and this project. Ndina promote here. Ndina promote here. No, here we talk about Mbaise People's Congress on the like promote the university. That kind of know what I'm talking about. Linda, you know what I'm talking about. Only people know what I'm talking about, and other people not here. Only promote here. You say they care about. Education is still our major occupation. Mbaise Europe, share the find a way of contributing your quota to ensure the realization of this important project. I'm sure all of us here will welcome any effort to advance educational infrastructure in our fatherland. Mbaise University will no doubt lay emphasis on entrepreneurship, technology, and skill acquisition for self-reliance. Please see how you can be part of the MUU support group. The MUU support group in there. Yes, they are warning me, and I will try to meet their warning. So the imperative of skill acquisition in Mbaise is cannot be overemphasized. All the number that Mbaise people must acquire skills, because I am endowed with sufficient natural resources. Only can so this is the only way we can help us. We are to reduce heavy reliance on wage employment or seeking greener pastures overseas. Well, greener pastures overseas, who can put no government? Able no wounded diaspora, no wounded Mbaise, or the more job that no grant, they seek a greener pastures. Today, Gihondelile, wounded no diaspora, USM and Europe, them be sent out and luckily for us, most of the diaspora people in government, much like home today I can win them be sent on a very, very, very impressive occupations. medical doctors, nurses, so many kinds of occupations, ICT, even AI, and so on and so forth. So today, onye gawara diaspora, ya wụ kadaka ọrụ, because all ndị kwesịrị eji arụ ọrụ, ndị ladaka ọrụ nwere go overseas, ha na-anọ n'okpuru bridge na-achọwa na ha. But you know when I come, don't let it go na aka, and that is happy that ndị Mbaise Europe nọ ya, nsọve, nchekiri, enwetara ka ejibaka ọrụ, kọrọ n'onwe na aka. So, but there is something good. I will also commend you people. Who watch that today? Mbaise urbanization outlook. Only make us really the contributions of our successful diaspora citizens and their huge financial inflows into these families and communities. There's no doubt about that. More the diaspora. Egunu we have Mbaise today. I don't know. Corona muna. He got the time around down almost all banks and establishments rushing to establish the branches in Mbaise. But because of the diaspora remittance. Diaspora remittance in Mbaise in way rival with the whole of people land. Corona muna. So the show you can make all time. All I don't know. They send the percentage here every time to your families and to the communities. Please, I'm not here. You shouldn't raise. I want one more meet yesterday at the airport. My just salary go. That's salary 1,700 euros. A cleaner. Say you only say yes, I do $300 to his family. Syria every month. But most of us here, my mom to present they send. So, but for the area I'm sure before I want know. I can make back a historical perspective of spill acquisition in Mbaise. Anytime the press and the spill acquisition in Mbaise. There is no time for that. Some of you want to keep reality. But only area is very important. The area is very important. So, let me to help. For the youth to acquire skills. I am going to type around here that we are happy with. We are happy with these people. They are really trying. And I'm first and foremost, only a group and an organization forum. No more natural commerce community. Okay, the keynote presenter, one of them, I already a coordinator until 2021. Then I elect another person. Under the shadow of who's not that very group, a mainly in empower the youth. Luckily enough, some of our diaspora members are members of. I can see Mr. Hidakram, he's a member and he's also doing well. She would have said, you're also a member of that group, people are doing well. And also, Mbaise Europe. Mbaise Europe, I need you Naka because we this opportunity for this convention to highlight the transformative power aspiration program, empowering the youth and fostering community development, especially in health-related areas. The proposed diagnostic center at Akwa Ibeku will definitely play a great role in training some of our people in the acquisition of relevant skills that will drive the operations necessary for the efficient service delivery at the center. That diagnostic center got each opportunity so we must acknowledge our brother, Chief Wise Ibe, who doubles as Vice President of Mbaise Europe and Supervisor of this very convention for his effort, at least in acquiring the land and other follow-up. I will also appreciate the effort of Chief Felix Osawu and Ms. Doris Morin Osawu, Nee Adiele, for establishing some projects in Mbaise with the primary objective of empowering the youth as well as enhancing their skill acquisition potentials. I'm sure that there are many other diaspora brothers and sisters who may be doing better than these people we have mentioned so far. Their identities may not be clear to us, but we will never forget them, neither take their contributions for granted. I say kudos as we ask God to help and bless them. However, we must note and commend some vibrant groups and organizations in Mbaise who are also committed to the cause of making Mbaise the center of skill acquisition, training, and development in Nigeria. Prominent among these groups are, let me mention some of them. We know of Greater Mbaise Forum, led by Professor Polika Bumwa, Mbaise Leadership Forum, moderated by our brother Chris Ohanele, Mbaise Policy Roundtable by brother Professor Oparoji, Ikoro Mbaise, ABC Transport is also training people. Mr. Frank Nate, Mbaise People's Congress, led by our brother Carl Azulidia. Chief Barrister Success Obioma Kaburonye, Akarugo, one of Mbaise, and his transformative agenda projects in Mbaise and Imo State in general must also be factored in as far as impacting knowledge through skill acquisition in Mbaise is concerned. Co-pricing for Imo Life under its national leader, Chief Barrister Success, in synergy with Efficient Research Dynamic Limited, have trained over 200 young men and women around Mbaise and beyond in solar and inverter installations. Certificates were awarded. I was there, not to say somebody tell me. Certificates were awarded for the various candidates who satisfactorily completed this skill acquisition training program recently. He is definitely a shining star that is expected to brighten the future political and social economic aspiration of the people of Mbaise if given necessary assistance. Underlining him. We must also commend the role of Dr. Didier Oporocha, Director of Springboard, Mbaise, and so on, for and so. We also commend Dr. Ms. Linda Imo and her collaborators in the Advisory Council on Mbaise Women, and so on and so forth. Their efforts have been appreciated. We really thank these people because they are doing well, especially her own area of empowering women and girls. All the women are very, very important. So, more like a training on wine. Ripple effect that leads to what we call sustainable development and progress. Let us comment also some other groups which I cannot mention here. They do of Amanziku, and so on and so on. There are other people that are also doing well in this. Then there is what we call acquisition of skill beyond basics. Very important. And here I will now give some recommendations. Now, what this area is saying is that we must stress that having knowledge and skill above and beyond the basis of our field can give one a professional advantage. I think I've said something about it before. As some give me skill, get another one. Get another one that is superior. Or give you an advantage. We must therefore continue to develop our skills and knowledge to ensure that our level of expertise is up to date. It is also a great way for one to stand out from the crowd in today's competitive technological and business world. Our knowledge and skill can always be the difference between landing the clients we desire and struggling to grow our business. Furthermore, skill acquisition through professional training may come in form of learning something new or even any academic credits to put towards a degree. In this direction, online courses are particularly important because they are affordable and fixable. That is very, very important. Our people take advantage of part-time program. That is what I have noticed. When you go to corporate, when you get to secondary school, or you get further, no matter their age, they will opportunity. Now I make part-time program. If you update and acquire more certificates, you have also acquired this skill. So you can also find professional development courses through vendor classes, traditional universities, training institutes. Business system must utilize the resources of the internet, which have been described as limitless for free information and educational resource practical and theory. The youth in Mbaise in particular should attend educational webinars, follow the blogs of social media accounts of industry experts, or bookmark and regularly check industry news sites and online forums. Before this, I hand commenting on social media. It is wrong. You must comment. You must comment. You must say something about it. You must look at social media. Please, I didn't enjoy experience and skill acquisition. To stay current on the latest. The most important thing is that you must stay current on the latest developments in your area. Even if you were not, it's the current things. Up and make through some social and some other research, give them the latest in your field. The youth must begin earnestly attend professional events and valuable ways to learn about growth and development in their area of interest. Industry people should watch out for seminars forums or workshops, just like what we're doing today, that can give them direct access and insight to experts in their profession. Local companies, business associates, and professional groups often host these events. These events, no doubt, are the sources of networking opportunities that can provide fresh insights and perspectives. We should note that STEM education is the intent now. We must emphasize, even as parents, let us tell our children the importance of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. What will cause them? We must have to prepare the youth for future jobs. In the same issue, endeavor to key into this innovation. More importantly, the way to do individuals in Mbaise should help support entrepreneurs, just like the diaspora. If we wait to do individuals in Mbaise, diaspora won't wish it. Know the way to do. You can't deny that. Know the way to do. They should do something. To help support entrepreneurs by providing micro loans and grants. How many persons have you given some small loans to Mbaise? I can move on the diaspora. Small loans. Providing financial support to building entrepreneurs to start grow their own business is very germane and critical. Mbaise people should know the importance of building and maintaining a list of contacts to ensure a steady flow of work. The use of LinkedIn, for example, to connect with high-ranking people and companies that are interested in working are very germane. We must also employ social media platforms to promote our business and scale. Or to make it money, 13. Age in social media is higher. It can be less than 60,000. More won't get a post to me on social media, WhatsApp, from the phone, including in the diaspora, every up to 50. Hands on kid and they leave. I'm on 13 at the eve of my mother's burial. Very significant. And I man this night. I'm getting my 13. I didn't want more way. So let me conclude because I'm questioning okay down. So what we are concluding is that to enhance, it should be recorded that Nigeria is set to achieve this goal as far as Millennium Development Goals. One of the goals, SF4, and this United Nations, to empower the youth and women by the year 2015. This is one of the major Millennium Development Goals. This objective will continue to be a search for Chimera if the empowerment of youth through this application is not embraced by all and some. Therefore, to have the impact of school in this we recommend public-private partnership, which entails collaboration between the government, private sector, and relevant NGOs. Community involvement is also important. Engaging the community in the planning and implementation of school education program will ensure that they are tailored to specific needs of the community and the individual. Regular monitoring and evaluation of skill acquisition program can help to identify areas of improvement as well as need for re-evaluation. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening to me.
That's wonderful. Once a professor is a professor. Thank you. I told you I also have a co-moderator who will now come to make some other introductions and then we'll take it up from here. May I humbly call Prince Taik Ayong to come and continue the work.
Thank you, my co-moderator, Chief Wise Leader. Thank you very much. First of all, let me apologize for having come late. It was not to my own making. I was asked to stay in the hotel and wait until somebody would come and pick me up. Somehow time flew and then calls started coming from every angle. I had to find a way to take boats and get down here. And getting down to this place, it was difficult to find a way into this place. So please bear with me. Once again, Chief Ezeji Amasi Agowa and his wife, Dr. Agowa Iheji, glad to have you here in our midst. Please, once more applause for them. I also recognize the presence of his just arriving the President of Mbaise Europe, Sir Kingsley Joko. Please put your hands together for him. Let's go there. Coming to the table now, we have all listened to Professor Paul Mbakwe and the special presentation he made. We were planning that after each presentation there would be like a 5 to 10 minute question and answer and comments. But I really wonder if anybody has any question to make, because as a professor he is, he did not only explain it very, very well, he brought it to the primary level that even that little kid there surely understood what he said. So I want to presume that there are no questions, otherwise that could come up a bit later so that we can meet up with time. The procedure is going to be this way, henceforth. Now that Professor Paul has spoken, we will have the next person as Magister Walter to talk. After Magister Walter, we will have our Reverend Dr. Onwubiko to talk. We are intentionally asking our sweet Dr. Linda Ewerebo to speak at last in preparation of the next speaker who is on his way coming a bit late because he missed his flight in London. That is Reverend Canon Augustine, where he will be the last person, and we hope he's going to meet us on time. But otherwise, dear speakers, we would appeal to you to have only 5 to 10 minutes to say to make your speech, so that we will meet up with time. And again, because of my coming late or having come late, we did not introduce or read a little bit of the profile of the speakers. So you will permit me, please, to go shortly to the profile of Professor Paul Mbakwe, who has just spoken, and then after that we move to Magister Walter Anyanwu. So ladies and gentlemen, a brief profile of Professor Paul Mbakwe. Excuse me over there, please. Hails from Eziala, Ngruweke Umunat Autonomous Community in the Mbaise local government area. He earned a Doctor of Philosophy degree in History, Culture and International Studies from the University of Calabar in 2005, with focus on Mbaise history and international relations. He has delivered conferences and convention papers in many parts of the world: Nigeria, UK, England, United Arab Emirates, USA. Professor Mbakwe was appointed head Department of History and International Relations at the State University, Uturu, in 2019. He belongs to many professional bodies, including Historical Society of Nigeria, American Studies Association of Nigeria, and a whole lot of them. He is presently the chairman resource person Ohaneze Ndibo, Abia State, as well as coordinator of resource persons, women and family affairs community of World Igbo Congress. He was the guest speaker at the Post-United Nations Conference on the status of Igbo women and girls, organized by World and Family Affairs Committee of World Igbo Congress, held in June 2014 in Berlin, Germany. He also presented a keynote address at the Pre-United Nations Grassroots Conference on the status of Igbo women and girls, held in Umuahia, Abia State in 2015. He is presently the Director General and Chairman, Board of Trustees, Peace Advocates and Practitioners Organization, a non-governmental organization incorporated in Nigeria to conduct research in peace education and conflict resolution. Coincidentally, the European headquarters of this international NGO is located here in Nigeria, in Vienna, Austria, and that is the chairman over there, Dr. Sam Obrona. Please, is Claribel Ngozi Mbakwe, an accountant, and the union is blessed with good children, Barrister Paul, Iwoma, Barrister Ivan, Francis, and George. So please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together once again for Professor Paul Mbakwe. I have been informed that one of our illustrious sons in Mbaise, Honorable Nana Ibogwe, is here. Honorable Ndewell, Federal House of Representatives, right? Okay. So I'm going to have one Saraju for Prof. Let us move to the next person who is going to speak now. And so, a brief profile of the next speaker, who is Chief Walter Anyanwu. ọnwụnwa afọ obodo ahịa na ahịa azụ Mbaise. O bi na ebe a na-akpọ Innsbruck, a city nọ na obodo Austria nọ. He is a political philosopher and educationist, a psychological advisor and existential analyst, according to the teachings of Viktor E. Frankl. He is going to speak on Diagnostic Center for Mbaise. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Chief Walter Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Thank you, Professor, for the very wonderful erudite speech. If I can steal some seconds from his own time that's already elapsed, bridging the gap between theoretical and practical knowledge. That is very, very wonderful, and I think you have acquired it very well. You've done it. I will be happy if you can reveal to us the secret behind it, how to do that. Thank you so much. The little presentation I'm going to make is, I think, attaches or draws from the conclusion you almost made, which is the emotional aspect of skills. We won't really have those skills. I think that's what many of us suffer. And I will illustrate with certain examples. Moreover, what I'm going to talk about, or why we want to establish a diagnostic center in Mbaise, is also in line with what we say, skills acquisition. And moreover, is also in line with what you say, that lack of skills, especially in our rural areas, is the cause of this quackism. Let me call it that way. That almost everything is quack. Mechanic is quack. Window maker is quack. Wood maker is quack. No matter what it is, nothing lasts long. In the village now, people are now importing doors from outside to build their homes. But our grandfathers used our carpenters, those who attended technical schools. Their doors and woods lasted almost forever. But today, we have upholstery makers and cabinet makers and carpenters, and everything is quack. It's lack of skill. How is this skill to be acquired? And how is that bridge to be bridged, that gap to be bridged? You based your presentation on academics. I think I will borrow a leaf from you. I'm going to use some stories. I'm a storyteller. That's my profession. I'm going to use some stories to enumerate what I'm going to say. Not stories in the sense of not storytelling in the sense of Akombe. Not storytelling in the sense of but storytelling as it is scientifically embedded in the appreciative inquiry process. This is a methodology developed in the US by David Cooper. What does it say? It says that in order to develop, in order to effect change, you have to go through 4 stages. The first stage is you discover what is at hand. After discovering, you try to dream higher than what you're seeing before you. What can be? If you cannot dream, if you cannot imagine, you cannot change the present situation. When you finish the dream stage, you go into design. You have to design the process of what you want to do. And after designing, then you move into delivery. And that delivery is your destiny. I'm afraid of using the word destiny because Pentecostalists have really rendered that word hopeless. Esoterics have rendered the word destiny hopeless. So that's why I'm very careful to use it. So those who know copyright, I will replace it with delivery instead of destiny. How do I go about that? The first story. About 1.5 years ago, I'm sorry I will not call names, but I would really have loved to call names because it's when you call the names that people can change. But if I call names now, they might think I'm doing bad business for them. So let me be careful. So 1.5 years ago, an uncle in the village called me that he went for a test. They ran a test in a clinic between Ahara Junction and Achengado. That's where this so-called hospital is. What is wrong with you? He's having pains. He's diabetic. He explained everything to me. I said, okay, what is the problem? After running the test, the doctor told him to bring 250,000 for him to buy him medication or medicines. I said, but what is the result from the test? He said, yes, that one of the sisters gave it to him and he photographed it. I said, please send it to me. He sent it to me. I went through it. In the test, result of that test, creatinine, those who are professionals in the field know what I'm talking about. Creatinine of this young man was reading 261. And I looked at it, I said, what? I called him, are you breathing? He said, yes. Where are you now? He said, he's at Junction. So you came with your own motorbike? He said, yes. Are you feeling dizzy? He said, no. Is your eyes or your eyes blood? He said, no. Are you weak? He said, no, all these bones are paining me. I was a little bit startled. A healthy creatinine is from 0.7 to 1.1. But this guy is having 261. I told him, okay, go and tell that doctor that you will come the next day to give him the money to buy him. I had to send him to Part Care Laboratories in Enugu to do the test. And after doing the test, his creatinine was 0.8. This is in our village, in our Mbaise. So my problem is not that the doctor did not know that the test was wrong, but he wanted to cash in on that. So if he had gotten the 250,000, which medication would he have given this young man? Which medication? This is the question. Which medication? What would he have treated this young man? That is the problem, that is the practice. The next one, the next story. This is now someone in my village. I've been suffering diabetes for over 14 years. I was home 3 months ago. I saw he was looking bad. I asked him, who is treating you? He said he's a doctor. This time, between Ezido and Amoma. That's where his doctor is. I said, what is their long-term sugar? He said, what is that? I said, has the doctor not told you? He said, no. I sent him to Part Care Laboratory again in Enugu. He came back with his long-term sugar, HbA1c, which measures the level of sugar or glucose in your blood in the past 90 days. If you're diabetic and no one has known that, then you are fooling yourself. And the one treating you is fooling himself or herself. When he came back, his HbA1c is reading 11. Those who know what I'm talking about, that the young man is dying. 11. I told him, go to your doctor with it so that he will know how to treat you. He went there. What did the doctor ask? Who sent you for this test? He said he's an uncle. He said, oh, you have so much money to go for such a test. I've not sent you because I've been thinking you don't have money. The one you will spend there is the one I will get from you. This is an Mbaise, and I'm speaking honestly. So these are one of the reasons for the importance of a diagnostic center in Mbaise. And what is a diagnostic center? I was on train coming from Innsbruck to Vienna yesterday. A young girl of 19 on train asked me, where are you going to? Because we got into talking. I told her. The next question she asked me was, what is a diagnostic center? I looked at her. I said, yeah, that is true. I'm not a fan of definitions. I like to move into things straight. This young lady told me, for a diagnostic center, you need to have machines to test HbA1c. You need to have machines to take ECG, that is electrocardiogram. You have to have machines to have X-rays, or what we call in German Röntgen. After those from Germany, I can see it here. It's a German called Röntgen that founded in 1895. How can you treat someone who has fracture? How can you treat someone who is having chronic pains in any part of the body if you don't subject that person to do the X-ray? That young lady told me you have to have computer tomography, machines for computer tomography. Yeah, many of us are having chest pains, we're having headaches, we're having all this. And we get medications without proper scrutiny. That young lady also told me a diagnostic center also involves blood count, adequate blood count laboratory, adequate instruments for proper blood count. I said, okay, if these are more are what it takes to have a diagnostic center, what makes it impossible for us to have it? What is it? If we really want. The next aspect I will then look into, why is it that I sent these people, one to Port Harcourt, one to Enugu? Why? Because I never knew where to send them. It was then in August I was on that I took time to move around. Where can I find these things? At Avo, close to Owerri, found an ultra-modern, wonderful hospital. They call it Dry Star Hospital. It is so modern equipped that it's so fantastic. In Owerri even, we have about 3 or 4 or 5 well-equipped laboratories. During the corona test, some of us that went to some of them to have the corona test. But I'm not doing advertisement for them. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because imagine someone from Mbaise going to Owerri or going to Port Harcourt or going to Enugu for such tests, or going to Alpha. Like Professor said, Mbaise people are going somewhere else, in plethora, to have their education. What stops them from having it in Mbaise? So if our people can travel to all these places for this test, what stops us from providing it in Mbaise that we have it there? It is necessary. And that's why Mbaise Europe has come up with this idea of building up a diagnostic center. And it needs a concerted effort. That is the dream we have. The first illustrations I did are the stages of discovery. What I discovered. The dream, like you have your thesis statement. This is where you come to the dream. What is the dream? The dream is that every individual person that is in need of any adequate medical examination has to do it in Mbaise. Instead of embarking on these cumbersome travels to Owerri, Enugu, Port Harcourt, this or that. That is the dream. Have it before you in Mbaise. What of the design phase? How do we design it? I don't want to go into that because it would amount to preempting what will take place on Saturday. Because I believe on Saturday, I can see the president of Mbaise Europe. I believe that on Saturday the project will be presented officially, and that will be the design. That we see the design, what is going on. But for it to be delivered, who is going to do it? We are the ones to do it. So if you are here, if you are an Mbaise person, anywhere you are, let us team together. I love the small book called Small is Beautiful from Schubert. That book tells us, do not go into utopic engineering. That is what we suffer in Nigeria. Utopic engineering, what we call white elephantism, white elephant projects. You begin it and you never end it. Or you begin it, they begin falling apart. Small is beautiful. That is very important. So Mbaise Europe, learn from there. Small is beautiful. This city in which we are, Vienna, was recorded as city in the year 1152. That was when it was recorded in the chronicles as a city. See how it has grown today, 2024. Those who came here 15 years ago, you can testify that Vienna is still growing since 1125. So, a journey to Rome begins with one step. Begin it small. Then, beginning small also means that we all sacrifice for it. I was having a lecture yesterday, and what I emphasized very much is this ability to, German says fetished. What is fetished? To forfeit, to forego something. He said, for now, let me keep it. If each and every one of us can sacrifice 10 euro every month for this project. SOS Children's Village, an organization I work with, the man who founded it is from Austria. He's in 136 countries in the world. How did he begin it? He said, every Austrian give me 1 shilling every month. That was in the time of shilling, 1949. Give me 1 shilling every month, and I will transform the world. And the people started giving him 1 shilling every month. Almost 98% of the population in this country, Austria, each month 1 shilling. 1950 spread to Germany. Every working person in Germany gave him 1 mark every month. And today, SOS Children's Villages is in 136 countries. If we want to do it for Mbaise, sacrifice your €1 or $1 for it every month. I believe we will make it. And that will be the beginning. Thank you.
That was wonderful. You know, like we said totally before, this union is being headed by chapters. And it's a great honor to have their leaders here. We have to introduce Honorable Gostin Buma is the chairman of North Rhine-Westphalia. Please, Honorable. Also, Mr. Felix Oswald is the chairman of Amana Mbaise in Holland. Mr. Felix, please. Mr. Benechi is the chairman of Ireland. He's on his way. He'll be here very soon. We shall recognize some of them when they come. And the other members, our sisters from Ireland, our sisters from Holland, and many of you who are here, we shall have the honor to introduce you one after the other. Let's go straight to the next speaker.
I have a little confusion here between our professor here and Mr. Anyao. Acquisition of programs and skills, skill acquisitions and practicing. Prof said here, acquiring skills will go a long way to get our youth, women and young men employed, that will take them off the street. And Magister Anyanwu here also said of an established skilled man, a doctor, maybe practicing whatever thing, I don't know. And the question is this. It's either the doctor only wanting to have money, get money for enrich himself for reasons known to him. This time around, his parents, organizations has helped him acquire this profession. And now, he is not doing what he's supposed to do. Instead, he's doing a different thing, enriching himself. Now the question is this: how do we rectify this issue? This person has acquired this profession, is one thing. Instead of doing what he's supposed to do, he's using it to dupe people. So, what do we call this?
Let's look at the board immediately. There is, we have already established a protocol. There is a moral gap. That is the cause of the problem. There is moral gap. That is why that doctor gave me like that. Your skill is rubbish if you don't close the moral gap that is inherent in your heart, that is causing you to do the wrong thing, and you call it quackery. It's not quackery, it's intentional. Let me give you an example. I went to somewhere last time in Omaha and gave somebody my generator to repair for me. My son was there. The mechanic changed the oil fresh himself. And for one reason, we didn't deliver it that very day. We kept it the following day. When we came back, we took it for granted that this oil is a brand new oil and it's changed because we were there a minute. We went back home immediately and kicked it off. The thing ran for 10 minutes and the engine knocked. Then asked me what happened. The co-mechanic that is working with him, as soon as we left, went and removed the oil, baffled the oil completely and sold it, leading to the knocking of the engine. Fortunately, unfortunately, the owner of the workshop is a good, I think he's a good man. He repaired the machine free of charge and begged me to not escalate the problem to people. So that, so what I'm going to say is this: if you have a skill and you lack morality, your skill is rubbish. So as we teach people skill, please let us teach them morality. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. That's a very wonderful one. There is a difference between morality and ethics. A medical doctor swore to the ethics of his job, the Hippocratic ethic. He swore to it, never to use a human being as a means, but to see a human being as an end in himself. This is where the problem comes. To see a human being as a means to getting rich, and not seeing a human being as an end in itself for transformation. And that is exactly that which Professor said. Knowledge that is what is the one that effects a change in you as a person. If you study anything, no matter what it is, or you're a carpenter, even you're a taxi driver, if there's no passion in it that leads you to have a changed perspective when you have people in your taxi, then you have not acquired the skill that is necessary. So it is this gap between ethics and the morality. Ethics is what is right, what is wrong. Morality is what is good and what is bad. And when we come to what is good or what is bad, everybody there is a foul egg. But what is right and what is wrong, even a thief knows that what he's doing is wrong. He knows it. So that was why I said, that particular doctor who knows that Creatinine can never be 265, and he was demanding so much money to treat him. What are you going to treat him? That is the question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are combining two things now, so you can see people are truly becoming doctor. So keep enjoying yourself as you listen. Chief, sir, Doctor, Rojo.
Thank you, moderator. Mine is not a question, but a kind of reinforcement to the question or clarification, if I may use that word. I think what he's trying to say is, as much as we're trying to emphasize on skill acquisition, while we are doing that, we should also emphasize on moral ethics. So that when all those candidates finally get the skill they need for life, they will also, with the moral they get from it, they will do the right thing. Because when you empower people and you don't give them the moral, they will use that against humanity. So what he's trying to say is, while we are empowering them, giving them the skill they need, we should also teach them moral, so that those things will now favor humanity. Thank you.
Thank you.
All protocols observed. Mine is, how do we ensure that the people that are allowed to practice are certified to do so? My own concern is, like, somebody fails in a medical school, for instance, and the person relocates to the village, and of course the person is seen as a doctor and is allowed to treat and even embalm the dead, even while we know in cities he's not qualified. So while we look at opening such good projects back home, how do we ensure that people that man them or people that operate at that environment are certified to do so, so that they don't toil with our loved ones back home? Thank you.
Ours, at home. Yes. That's a good advice. Dr. Bunda, please.
Thank you so much. The professor said something very important, just like also what I said. The question he threw is a wake-up call, a wake-up question. What we is trying to point out here is what I call a missing link. And he's trying to draw the nexus between what the two speakers have said. So he's trying also to tell Mbaise Europe that even when you establish all these institutions, you should have control mechanism to be able to guide those things so that it will not happen. I think this is what he said. Thank you so much.
We applaud you so much. Please.
The questions are very, very wonderful. Where the system fails, control also fails. During the Stalinistic time, here in the German-speaking world, they used to say, trust is wonderful, but control is most important. So we have to find a way of, just like my brother, Mr. Wanda said, we have to find a way of establishing control mechanisms. But the question is, who will do that? The system at home has failed. As the professor said, we have educational institutions where knowledge is no more being impacted as it should be, and the impacted knowledge does not impact anymore. These are two things. You impact, and the thing you impart should impact. But where there is a gap between the impacted and the impact of the impacted, who controls it? Here in the civilized world, the bureaucracy is functioning. The politicians are corrupt, especially in the country where I am today. The politicians are corrupt, but the bureaucracy is staunch. You can't joke with the bureaucracy. But at home, both politician and bureaucracy, everything is rough. So who controls who? That's the dilemma we have. But we don't lose hope. Thank you.
Thank you. Like we say, the food is coming. You can see the mouth moving. So we are combining two of them. Please help yourself as you are doing it quietly. You are really a great audience. I've never seen such a quiet and good listening audience before. Please, one more round of applause for you guys. Please, thank you. The next speaker is going to talk about the church, her contribution to the development of Mbaise. This is Reverend Father Dr. Augustine Aubiko. Is from Ezido in Ezdeite. Mbaise was ordained on the 6th of August, Feast of Transfiguration of the Lord, 1994 at the St. Thomas Catholic Church, Zero. He attended the major seminary, École Bene, where he backed bachelor's in philosophy and theology, respectively. He later went for a postgraduate diploma in education in Imo State University before traveling to Germany. There in Germany, he backed a doctorate degree in sacred theology, dogmatic and ecumenical theology at Ludwig Maximilian University, Munich, and another doctorate in philosophy, society politics at the Jesuit University in Munich. He has served as the chaplain for the Nigerian Catholic Nurses Guild, parish priest to various parishes in Mbaise, and as cathedral administrator, Ahera Mbaise Diocese 2001 to 2005. Presently, Father Aubiko is at the Diocese of Münster, Germany, in the pastoral with so many charity organizations, both home and abroad. His hobbies include encountering people, singing, visiting places, playing tennis. Please, may I humbly welcome Reverend Dr. Augustine.
Thank you very much, my own chief, Andomwoke Izokonko. Mbaise Udodirono, my fellow presenters of Sombakwe and Magister, thank you very much, and then my sister Linda. It's my pleasure to stand before you and make this presentation. It's going to be very short. The presentation of Prof with the presentation of our brother, we came to a stage that we were talking about a missing link. A missing link in imparting knowledge through acquisition of skill. And that link I would like to reflect now, because it has to do with something that's a bit metaphysical, something higher than our human nature, that we need something extra in order to get that missing link. And that is where religion comes to play. So my speech is based on the beautiful experience of Mbaise with religion, the encounter with faith that we had for 7 years. And you know, if you talk of Mbaise, you talk about faith, you talk about church. Equal maka church, equal maka manihe. Wisdom. Sometimes people are very envious of us, and when they listen for these things. And I am a former when I met. That is what we are known for, and we're proud of it. So that missing link has to do with something that is infused in us, the grace of God. If you don't have the grace of God, then you wouldn't have morality. And so that is why religion is very important. And we know so much and so well that religion is ambivalent. Religion will not trouble. But only higher than I don't know. Dibia Gochara will go, Yassi with Ayara. Yes, one Takayara. It's and there is no meaningful development in any world today. We're talking about without religion. Even in this Vienna now, very beautiful city, in Europe, in America. You cannot talk about any meaningful development without religion. So religion is very, very important in our lives. And when you talk about religion, you talk about culture, because religion inheres in a culture. So, like we know very well that the Igbo worldview, we are not, like the Prof pointed out, we just didn't start at the same people. We were different people, autochthonous. That's the word. We had our own way of doing things, led by chiefs and the law party. And then eventually they developed the way of looking at life, the way of understanding themselves. And that's how religion started. And they started thinking about, how did we come to be? What is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of a good life? All those questions started rovering around something that is metaphysical. So the ability to think and the ability, to conjecture a future for themselves. And then they now discover that there is something greater than them, that is not just human, and that is religion. And they started talking about God. So we had religion before they brought the Christian religion to us. We had religion. What they brought to us is faith, you understand. They just brought us their own faith, based on religion. Yeah, but religion was a basic thing every human being had. But then faith is a belief that you build it up, and then you begin to use it to work. And that is why any meaningful religion has to talk about salvation. And when you're talking about salvation, like the Anglican bishop, Bishop Rochas, not the Governor Rochas of Konacha, but the one that was in charge of the Anglican Communion in Owerri, used to say that the meaning of salvation for us as in the Igbo and Mbaise is into Ihoma. And so that's why faith, a real faith, has a good work and service. And that was what the missionaries came to Mbaise with. They came with the word of God, and they came with service. They started school, they started hospitals, and our people saw these things that they were good. Knowledge and light, they opened their lives, and their lives were better. And so, faith for our people who is into good life. They started seeing their children behave differently. A relative change in behavior that was permanent came, and then they now started moving in a kind of a direction, an orientation of a good life. And so our people accepted them, and then the faith started spreading in Mbaise. It was very funny, how this faith came to take root in our place. Some of the stories of how we had this faith can be very funny. I'm talking about the major two bodies that came to evangelize in Mbaise. The CMS, the Christian Missionary Society from England, came first. The Queen sent them according to the colonial lines, and they brought them to the hinterland and to Mbaise. And they started spreading. And then the Caliphate also came. So the Christian faith went out in Mbaise, and our people accepted it because of the services they were giving. Like sometimes, what we received, some of the obstacles that we faced initially, the division that this faith came with, and Mbaise, as a people, were their values. And when this faith came, the challenge to them was the division that they were seeing between these people talking about God. You can imagine when the CMS came and was moving around Watarocha, and all that, they got them. And then Ezoye wanted to go and get a religion for his people. He was going definitely to get the CMS. He was going to get a teacher, a CMS teacher. But as he was passing, he saw another teacher punishing another teacher. A Catholic teacher was punishing a CMS teacher. And there is a state, stop. And then one boy here, yeah, Joy, only case we're on your way. That's only case we're on your way, Catholic teacher. Only case open no one, yes, only CMS. That's all about Naga Academy to get order the Catholic teacher. Only case we're going to get CMS. So, you now see the funny way that we are deciding. But the basic thing, we wanted teachers. But the little things deviated their attention and they brought this faith. But what I'm trying to say without wasting your time is that this faith that came to us, it came with service. And then they brought education to us. And we know that in Mbaise, when you go around, you see the effect of the faith. When you see the Catholic schools, you see the CMS schools, you see the training centers, the domestic centers at Bongo. You go to Ife and Amoma, you see their basic teachings there from the CMS, and then Ife and Obutu and all that. And that's where you see their base, the Christian Missionary Church. And then they started training girls, training boys, and the people who grew up. And then the Catholic line also, they trained a lot of people and acquired skills. So the question now is, this missing link can only be provided by a synergy. The Mbaise Europe has shown leadership. It's not easy to organize our people in Europe here. So we're very grateful to the leaders of the Mbaise Europe. And I want to point out that we can only reach where the Spirit is leading us, taking advantage of the time, artificial intelligence, and then the media, the connections. The word today that we're talking about is connectivity, networking. With networking, we can achieve many things. It is with networking that we all came here now. Through communication, through letter writing, through SMS, through WhatsApp, and so on and so forth, through jingles. And we're here today. Very important. And then we have to work with everybody in order to get this knowledge in Mbaise. We have to begin to question, how did the missionaries survive, even though they didn't have our language? Most of our people were just, using mnemonics to follow them. Even Hail Mary, they could not say some of our prayers. The men would be in their room just saying, as if they were praying. They were not praying anything, but the children were learning and praying at their wives. So what made them to survive was this link of honesty, morality, and discipline. Like what they brought and what they built, hitting the hand on, all the skills and whatever, nobody going down and connect, why we need the in a church. But they made sure that the people that handled those monies were sincere and it was put into work. So if we sent Europe, America, in America and everywhere in the world, if we are going to develop our people and build them up, we have to learn this discipline, decency, honesty, and putting people at the right place. This competence, leadership, is not just everybody that has it, there are people that have it. Let those people lead and let them be brought to accountability. Accountability is a word we don't know in Nigeria, but luckily we are here. So we have to make sure that we borrow it again. And then control. Like our brother said, trust is wonderful, but control is wonderful, is better. So we have to control whatever step we're making. It's not just enough to have an idea, but we have to think about the way to bring that idea, to bear, so that it will bear fruits. So it is only when we believe in God that we believe in ourselves too. The love we have for each other can only resonate when we are sincere and honest. So let us not believe in the false religion. There's something that is going on around amongst us now. Religion is very ambivalent, like I said. Sometimes because we're all religious and religious human beings, we can begin to ascribe ourselves positions. Either I'm a prophet, or I'm this and that, and everybody can give himself any nomenclature. But the point is this: the thing that divides madness and religion is very thin, very small. Very, very small. And that is why for us, before you can stand and you have a certificate and you are licensed, to teach and to talk to people, demonstrate and teach and find out whether you are sound. Because when you are when you cannot preach, you are preach, when you are preaching na social media. Anybody can be a prophet, anybody can claim to anything, but the point is this: we must be able to understand that speaking in tongues is not acquisition of skill. It's an abuse. So we're talking about something. It's a kind of religious skill. That is not the skill we're talking about here. We're talking about a skill that has something to do with humans, that provides service to people. You understand? That provides service, that gives life, that trains a doctor, and the doctor is a doctor, the nurse and the nurse is a nurse. And that is what these missionaries brought. In all sincerity, they were not teaching them speaking in tongues. They were teaching them the skills. So what we are having today at home, we build bodies and the communities, and what are they doing there? Sometimes very low quality progress and very low quality development. We are talking about human development, which God himself sent Jesus, his son, to come and do. He came and saved us. He came and taught us the way to be happy. Religion can only make meaning if it doesn't bring anything to us, then forget it. If you are having anything and you have a church, or you are a pastor, or a priest, or a bishop, and the people they cannot even feed themselves again, then the religion has failed. Because and that is what the churches are supposed to be. That's why when the missionaries came, they came with this, they came with school, they came with all these skill acquisition areas, and they were sincere to it, without wasting so much time. Because I know that where the thing is moving is acquiring knowledge through giving knowledge to acquisition of skills. That if we who are here now support religion the way it should be, and they make a distinction between abracadabra, and then between what we are seeing in the recent times, from the real thing that saves, not just emotion, but things that put, that develops a human being, that brings human development, then we are on the right path. And I know, by the grace of God, we will provide that missing link if we join with all the global players in the development of human life in our Mbaise. And a kind of information, we have also a body here in Europe, made up of reverend fathers, religious, and priests, and then all those that are in line on the theological level. So, and they're interested in also having a synergy with Mbaise Europe, so that we can now bring about that missing link there in Mbaise. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you. Speaking in tongues is those skills. So, that one. You want a nurse, or you want an engineer. Before we move on, permit me to introduce somebody that just arrived in the presence of Dr. Andewunya Iwejo, the board chairman of Mbaise USA. Please put your hands together for them. Mbaise, una tomo toma. No wonder, don't you go na wo. Mamu wo na ma. Ono wa anya le. Hey! Ono wa ko go ojo wa anya ki je mo ri. Awa ni ke ofori ya te wo ko. Omo do ma ko ru na be. Ana ti ko re ba. So our father, the Mitchell speech here, already how to read here for